Since the government won't change their ways, and the world we in not save today, we gotta do ourselves no time to waste. We gotta unite or die. See the world we in have turned so cold. When a girl gets shot less than 1 year old, and you ask around, nobody knows. We gotta unite or die.
Who just came on from the iPad? What's going on, people? Two participants. Hold on. Let me see. I got two people on the line. Oh, it's me and that person. Okay. I see what's going on now. Let me bring back
the government won't change their ways, and the world we in not save today. We gotta do ourselves no time to waste. We gotta unite or die. See the world we in have turned so cold. When a girl gets shot less than 1 year old, and you ask around, nobody knows. We gotta unite or die.
Hey. Turn the music.
What'd you say?
Okay, you can hear me.
I heard you the first time.
Oh, I couldn't hear nothing you were saying.
You can hear
But I hear the music now. And I can hear you. We're good. Ross Arthur is here, but I think he's downstairs, so give everybody a second.
Yeah, we'll be ready in about 10 minutes.
Okay. All right. I'll be back. I'm going in the kitchen.
Government won't change their ways, and the world we in not save today. We gotta do ourselves no time to waste. We gotta unite or die. See the world we in have turned so cold. When a girl gets shot less than 1 year old, and you ask around, nobody knows. We gotta unite or die. We gotta unite or die. We gotta unite or die. Let me tell you about my life. Let me tell you about my struggle to be free. The ones who said emancipate when they deliberate are the ones who lied to me. Listen, son, let me tell you, don't think twice. Let me tell you about post-slavery. No matter what they demonstrate, our worst enemies are the ones who owe money. So I wanna make it plain, oh, we don't set new cross, we march, we sing. We don't try to everything, but we're still failing. The only thing we haven't tried today, the one thing we need to try is unity.
snaps. Today. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. This thing is not letting me on this record. Oh, I got it. I got it. You know what I need? I'm gonna have to bring my phone over here.
Spreading some information for everybody. Moundbuilders. Hope. A lot of information out there that needs to be heard. So we just have this call where people come in and tell us what's going on in their environment, what are they looking at, what are they seeing. We all trying to keep that open perspective. We can all help each other in some way. That's what it's all about. Moundbuilders, Triple She. We are of the Empire of Washington. They dug the mound here. We represent with the gold in the room. Their indigenous status, and we're just maneuvering, as far as being able to open up and have alternative means for development and have alternative means for growth for our people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of situations that people are put in, but it's nothing for them. This is something that we want to try to put together for us that we can control, and we can set it off like that. Trish, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Well, I want to go ahead and let you guys introduce yourself because you guys are the special guests tonight. All the way from JA Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead and tell us, what you guys got going on, and introduce each person so we can get the vibes.
Well, my name is Teresa Ruddick, and I'm introducing Ross Arthur. He's a Rastafarian representing Rastafari. Representing me and everyone.
Yes, greetings from Vitality. That's Theo.
So, we always kick off with spirituality and healing, and I just want you to be able to touch on that. From your perspective, how important is it for us to be able to take in spirituality for healing?
Well, there are many who mistakenly refer to Rastafari as a religion, when in truth and in fact, I think it is more appropriately considered a pathway of revolutionary spirituality that draws on all the ancient manifestations of Africa resisting colonialism and oppression here in the West. And it has grown, since the early 1930s now, to be not just a force that represents this tradition out of Jamaica, but that a force which has come to represent varying distinct traditions of Pan-African Black revolutionary consciousness to beyond, to where now humanity seeking justice finds in Rastafari symbology, language, culture, music, a very safe space to be strengthened for the onward journey until victory. Healing has been always a foundation of this journey of spirituality here, from our ancient Maroons and from way even before the Maroons that come to be dated, with colonialism. Centuries, probably 7 odd centuries before that. Our indigenes lived very, very close to nature, very close to Mother Earth. And, I like to speak about Haiti a lot, even though I'm speaking here from Jamaica. Because this Rastafari, among many others, among some others, recognize in Haiti a very important source and center point of this culture of resistance and celebration of our ancient past. And in all of these traditions that you can trace through here in Jamaica too, healing, for example, among the Maroons, their most important drumming sessions are really healing ceremonies called the Koromanti play. These are ceremonies where healing is taking place. In the Rastafari Nyabingi tradition now, which all different houses and mansions of our faith tradition recognize and participate in, perhaps I should say almost all. The idea of invoking the spirit of Nyabingi, interestingly a female spirit, connected with Queen Nzinga out of the Congo, Central Africa. This tradition carries forward the tradition of those who in the 15th and 16th centuries were called Obiamen, Bongoman. And their basic philosophy was that their practice was a healing practice, that the main corrupt of life, the main sickness was enslavement. It was that which the white enslaver brought. And their work was to cleanse the society, to heal the society from this sickness. And there's a way in which the Rastafari tradition very powerfully carries this on in the present day. My few words on spiritual.
I mean, so you guys being there, the culture of Rasta is, definitely, the course. But I think you said something that really struck me when you said the Maroons that were for the Maroons for colonialism. You know what I'm saying? If you can kind of give us a little bit more about that, because that's what I like to hear. What some people like to refer to what is called the Cimarron. You know what I'm saying? But what were these people and what land base were these people pretty much from?
Well, the word Cimarron, I was only just looking back at one of the works on Bob Marley's life and read a line which reminds us that the Spanish word Cimarron actually meant unruly. And this word therefore captured the principal characteristics of those who never at any time acknowledged themselves to be slaves. They were enslaved, but they always considered themselves in terms of the way life on our mother home continent brought us up to be some were agriculturalists, some were agronomists, healers, kings, priests, military, in all various spheres of the life of what were some of our planet's most ancient kingdoms. The best of Africa, some would say, was ripped from our mother continent's breasts to be brought out here in the West and to do the work which built capitalism, which built the empires of Europe and Euro-America. So, yeah, from the word maroon is, all right, so Cimarron is one source, meaning unruly, but there are those who connect the word to the Moors, the Almoravids of ancient times, you would know better than I am to teach us.
He was asking about the Moors that you said you said before the Moors.
Right.
The
Maroons,
yeah.
right. So I'm saying that the Maroon as a word is taken to mean those who ran away from the slave ships, mistaken. But when those Africans who rebelled, even from on the slave ship, some dove into the waters to prefer that route to reach back, to travel through death underwater and reach back into life in Guinea, for instance. when they reached on land and broke away from the plantations up into the hills, were met by Tainos and Moors, who from 7 centuries earlier had intermingled, forming free African communities in our interior. It was they that gave meaning to the original name pronounced variously, Yamaye, Jamaica, but this idea of the word sound, which now comes out as Jamaica, meaning the land of wood and water, is very significant because it was the forests, the woods in the interior, and the rivers that were respectively the sanctuaries and the highway routes for the Maroons to strike at the heart of the colonial towns and cities and retreat into invisibility, because the white supremacist colonial slave masters did most of their towns around the coasts of Jamaica. They were really afraid to come too far into the interior. So my reference to those who were before the Maroons was a reference to the Moors that some writers, one noteworthy reference is Ivan van Sertingen, who writes the book They Came Before Columbus, and makes a connection with this Moorish presence to the Olmec statues that are to be found in Mexico, Honduras, etc. Built maybe a little more recent, but not too far from the time when the great pyramids of Giza, etc. were being built in North Africa. So we have a tradition that we know connects Africa very powerfully and establishes our presence, not because of slavery and colonialism in these parts. We traveled the world, we navigated, we learned geometry. We taught them how to make fire and to come out of caves, you know. So we were traveling around and meeting each other on this planet Earth many centuries before a Moorish navigator was able to strengthen Columbus's fantasy about traveling west and east.
Right. So like right now when we see what's going on in the world, as far as, you know, the Europeans have woken up to the unjust that's been going on, police with blacks in the United States. How does that,
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
you know, what do you have to say about that from, you know, what you guys deal with the police over there, you know, most of them being black, some of them have a couple whites, but what's the comparison between United States police and Jamaican police, and what do you think what's your views on what's going on with the police brutality that's been going on?
I think the point you make is perhaps the most significant conversation that joins us both here now. Because, you know, let me approach it this way. You know, Theo, you know my interest in Haitian history, right? And in the Haitian Revolution, right? Are you hearing me, Theo?
I'm here, I'm right here.
Okay. My volume level, I'm not hearing you so clearly.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
But this week, in the next, we are now what, the 4th, 5th? On the 14th of August is celebrated the moment when this revolutionary spiritualist bookman from Jamaica presided as the priest over a very important event known as the Wakaiman ceremony, the end event, in fact, that triggered the Haitian Revolution. So that was how much, if you can help me do the maths, that was 1791, August 14th. The 1991 would be 200 years, and you add another 229, nearly 230 years ago. That happened 91 in Haiti, come the 14th of August. So interestingly, we are in a conjuncture of history that brings the past and unites it with this present moment. Because, you know, that uprising in Haiti, 13 years of war that defeated Napoleon's army and the Spanish and the British, it was perhaps one of the most significant military defeats to be suffered by Europe, not just one nation in Europe, by European colonial slavery. And of course, we know Haiti has been made to suffer. The fact that in this moment, mere weeks now, after the killing of George Floyd, our brother, rest in power, the entire Black world has risen. And with it, the entire family of progressive humanity of many different races, including Caucasians, well-thinking human beings, have risen to the moment and to voice the idea that world civilization now has come too far. Maybe I could say has degenerated to the point where many more millions of our 7 billion people are saying enough is enough. This nearly, some would say 500 years, nearly 2 millennia of white supremacy's contestation of power, Black over white, racial conflict, economic power, the holders of wealth against the poor who only can, you know, struggle to hustle and sell to keep themselves and families alive. This is a moment where right across the world, there has been an amazing response to the fact of African America rising for justice, rising to say, no longer will you choke us and have your heels in our neck. It coincides with another moment, I think, Brother Theo, because this is taking place right when another global pandemic, COVID-19, has, in its aftermath of suffering and death, caused many more people to think about what is being presented by white supremacy in the United States and their clansmen internationally. Is what is being presented as a moment for a global reset, where theories of population control intermingle horrendously with a revival of fascist and racist KKK presence and authority. Not just in the States, but the behavior patterns are showing up in areas in Europe, all over the Western world. And my brethren is saying, even in Jamaica. So what we are faced with, even in Black countries on the African continent also, it becomes, in some of these places, not as starkly white versus Black as it would happen in a place where predominantly whites are in the majority in the population, and there is a historical problem. But now, even in Black countries, throughout the African diaspora, on the continent, here in Jamaica, throughout the Caribbean, there is the frightening upsurge, For example, just weeks after George Floyd became martyred for all of us and our freedoms, there was a case here in Jamaica where an 83-year-old prisoner awaiting what is called the Governor General's pleasure. You know, in Jamaica with all its presence as a progressive nation, we're still a colony, you know. We are independent, but our head of state is the Queen, represented by a Governor General. So here is this man who has not been charged of a specific crime, who has not been able to come to answer to charges in a court because apparently of issues of mental health. He's required, according to the Constitution, to be prepared, to be made ready, to be able to plead. Instead, he languishes for 43 years in jail, 40 years in jail, he's 83. And he is discovered, Theo, in a skeletal state, still alive. But literally when you look on it, it's a gut-wrenching, the first of it, you know. Here is a skeletal form with several ulcers, large ulcers across the face and what is left of what was once a human healthy body, which has now been reduced to skin and rotting skin and bones. And he's discovered in this state, dead. And he has been waiting in prison for 40 years for the Queen of England's representative in Jamaica to determine his fate. Never been charged yet in the courts for a crime. And part of this sad thing I have to confess, even though many like you, like many of your listeners, I imagine, would want to know more about Rastafari, which truly has mobilized millions across the world for a greater appreciation of their own value and worth. And when I say this, not just Africans. When in Germany they were tearing down the Berlin Wall, white Germans were singing the Bob Marley and Wailers, get up for your rights, as they threw bricks off the Berlin Wall, you know. So and yet in Jamaica, I would say that many conscious people know the name George Floyd. But the name of, and here I have to admit and confess my own failing to prioritize what is ours here. I don't remember the full name of the brother I speak here of him. He's something Thomas, right? Eh? I don't remember the first name, but Thomas. Somebody who would present to the world as a Rasta man, he's bearded and locked, who is found rat-eaten in his cell. So you can imagine the stench. And the stench is of such that he's not noticed, because that is the normal stench that faces the cells in which human beings are supposed to be held as wards of the state, to be rehabilitated to come and serve society. So I'm saying is that this is happening in Jamaica right now. A case that has come up, 2 years old, and has come into the domain of public discussion over the last 5 days. Sorry, is the case of a 9-year-old pupil doing well at her school, the daughter of Rastafarian parents, who is told in, I think it was January of 2019, that she cannot enter the school at which she's an A student, a prize student. Teachers so love this girl. And she's refused entry to the school. So the lawyers make a case, it is presented to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, after going 2 years, has ruled only a few days ago that the school authorities that, in the minds of many, broke the constitution of Jamaica and telling this Rastafarian young child, a girl, brilliant student, that she can't come into school with her well-groomed locks. And the argument was so insulting, Theo, because locks harbor ticks and fleas, and this was the language of running this little child, breaking her heart. And the Supreme Court ruled just a few days ago that the school has the right to do that. So, you know, your brethren Bobby and I were reasoning only last night and really saying that this is an enough is enough moment for us in Jamaica too, that should require of Rastafari and of all those who sympathize in what we stand for to take a serious
stand with everything. Y'all kind of blocked up there. He got cut off. So that was a good segue. Shout out to my man Rob.
Hello.
I got my brother ADE, Honorable ADE, base.
Turn up this one, please. I'm not hearing what you say.
Teddy, turn your volume up. Minus all the way up.
Teddy, can you turn up your volume? I'm not hearing you at all.
Okay, hold on. ADE, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you very faintly.
Okay, I was talking to another person that's on the line too right now. Hold on.
Okay, great.
ADE.
Yo, yo.
What's up, brother? What's going on?
You got it. You got it. What they do?
All right, everybody, this is the legendary bass king, first brother who put a bass record out back in the first label. To me about years. I think it's a time where we need to hear this because if we can be able to maneuver currency on a level that is alternative, I think that's something we need to really get into. So, go ahead.
I can't hear you. There's some noise going on now.
Right. Hold on. If everybody's could everybody just mute themselves so that if everybody's muted, we're good. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you a little better. Yeah, I hear you. It's something still squeaking in the background, I guess. Okay, but go ahead. I'm listening.
All right, yeah, go ahead. Just give us a quick, not quick, but give us a definition of Bitcoin and how we can be able to take advantage of it in the community.
Okay. Bitcoin. Basically, it's a digital currency. It's a new form of currency, so to speak. I mean, it's been around since '09, but the reason why we need to be looking into it and trying to figure out how to maneuver it and how to use it and how to work with it is because right now, I've been on this for a couple of years now, but more so now than ever, we're coming into a time when I'm sure everybody can see the kind of paper money that's being dispersed on the streets. And, it's just like anything, when you got too much of something, it loses its value. Cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin, should I say, and there's a distinction between cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency, there's multiple coins besides Bitcoin. So I know a lot of people, all they know is Bitcoin, but there's multiple cryptocurrencies and other coins. But Bitcoin basically was started by nobody really knows who. They have a name, Nakitaki, Sakamoto, or whatever. But the thing was, the reason that the people that started it didn't say anything about it or put their names out or anything like that, because, you know, when you're living in a sovereign society, another government, and you come out with a currency inside of that government, that could be an act of treason, or, you know, considered so many different things, you know, or act of war, because you're threatening the economy, the currency. It's so it's a lot of reasons why they didn't disclose what they were doing at the time. And they put together this, you know, this more so like how would I say, this computer I'm losing my thought here, but they put together a coin based off of data, that it was solid data, that you could not go in like the government does now when they want to print money, and they just go in and print a couple $100 billion or $1 trillion or what have you. Well, Bitcoin was made so that could not happen. And your dollar, when you're working, you don't be working all day and your dollar is losing value, because the government does what they want to do and they make money when they want to make it. So this is why crypto was created. And this is why it holds and will hold its value, even though it fluctuates, but it's a lot better than the manipulation of the paper currency. So this is another reason, like I said, why now in this here COVID time, it's very important to pay attention, because the whole reason that Bitcoin was created has really come to fruition, to the point that now, I mean, we were already in debt. Our money was already crazy and stretched out, and, you know, we were already in debt. The whole world is in debt. But now what's happening is not only our government, but governments all over the world are doing the same thing. They're pumping this stimulus money to, you know, prop up the economy and try and keep it running. In my opinion, how that's going to have to pan out, because nobody's going to want to hold this debt after this is all done. You understand what I'm saying? And they're pretty much, you know, would come to a consensus, as the way I would see it, and say, hey, well, you know, I got debt, you got debt, and we need to basically forgive the debt. So in forgiving the debt, they would have to get rid of that debt currency, which will be that paper dollar. And this is all a lot, you know, it's conjecture, my opinion and stuff like that as well. But again, we have to have insight. You know, we have to be paying attention. And with them forgiving the debt, they would more likely agree, because nobody, like I said, will want to carry that debt. And then there's only, but we're still going to need a currency. We're going to need money. We're going to need a medium of exchange. And it takes a while to create a medium of exchange, because a medium of exchange is really about trust. Whether we trading seashells or dumbbells, whatever it is, it's about trust that, hey, I'm going to give you this, and you trust in it and say, okay, I'll accept this for my product or whatever. But it takes a while to do that. But Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, has been trying to do this for years now. The government has been trying to keep it down, because they understood that they couldn't manipulate this like they do the other currencies. Because in the code, when Bitcoin was written, like other cryptocurrencies, it says, okay, only so many are going to be made. And in that computer data, you cannot, it's already fixed in, you can't change it. Okay, so it's only 21 million that's going to be made. That's it. So that's what makes it, keeps it value. You understand? So now we're here. Now where we at? So what I tell people, I say, listen, go on YouTube, just pull up, you know, what is cryptocurrency? You know, how does it work? Different things like this, because it is a learning curve, but you got to understand that this is something you must learn. You have to learn, or you're going to get left behind. And in this time, I call crypto Noah's Ark, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring or how things are going to go and how this whole money situation is going to affect us. But one thing that we can do is prepare ourselves and learn about this cryptocurrency, because not only is it going to be a currency that you're going to use, you're going to have to use, but it also can save a lot of our financial lives and situations, because right now it is so lucrative to get involved in Bitcoin, to know about it. You understand what I'm saying? And I keep saying Bitcoin, but I mean cryptocurrency in general. It is so lucrative. You're talking about, you remember the .coms and how they came out with Google and Amazon and different things like that. I got into them. I went in, I put 10,000 on this one, flip it, make my 10,000, I make 20,000, I flip on Amazon, Google. I was doing that stuff when it first came out. But because I grew up, black guy, my parents didn't know anything about investing and different things like that. I was just content with flipping my money and not realizing that, hey, I should have left some in as an investment. I would have had a lot of those millions that Google and Amazon and Yahoo and all these Cisco's and different companies have today, because I was right there. So my thing was, when I saw this come back around, I said, wow, it blew my mind. I thank the Father for one, because I was like, wow, this is a major opportunity. I'm talking, hundreds of millions of dollars if you're paying attention. But even at that, we understand the trickle down effect. Even if it was just millions, it still could help you and your family financially, because the gains in this are crazy. You're talking about coins that are in the pennies. As Bitcoin started, in the pennies, less than a penny. And it was brought to me back in 2009. But because I know how our government works, I didn't want to get involved. But I still feel like I made the right decision, because we don't know how that could have went. It was just those guys were smart enough to keep their names and situation out of the public eye until they released it to the public. But right now, there is so many different reasons that we need to be going and trying to find out. It's a lot of information. Like I tell people, when nothing happens, in a vacuum where you don't know what's going on. It's all telegraphed, and you can find out whatever's going on, but you got to know what to look for. That's the key. When you figure out, say, okay, it's like you got a car, okay, and you just bought a blue Saturn. Now you're going to start noticing all the other Saturns on the road. That's just how it is. So now with your mind being open on cryptocurrency and you start looking into it and start checking it out, then you'll start noticing different things and you'll start understanding how to work it, because it is a learning curve. But we have to get on this as soon as possible. We have to start looking into it and making sure that if you just want to get you a little bit at a time, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is probably around $10,000 to $11,000, but you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy, it's like buying meat. You can go to the grocery store and you say, oh, give me a pound of that. It's $1.99 a pound. Well, the thing is with Bitcoin, you can go buy $500 worth. You can buy $100 worth. You can buy whatever your means is at the time. But we have to realize that, again, we got to learn this. So I can't teach it to you right now in this segment, but you can do a lot of studying and understanding on your own by just pulling up the information that's already out there on YouTube that can help you just to understand what's going on and to understand that the greatest wealth transfer is finna happen. And right now, the cryptocurrency total market with all coins is about $300 billion. But what's going to happen is it has to fill the currency supply of the world. The currency supply of the world is around 220 some $trillion. So you imagine if you got a tiny bit of that, a little bit that you're invested in the right coins as well, your gains can be phenomenal. It's going to be bigger than the dot-com era. Amazon, Google, this is going to be on steroids times 100. So that's what you're dealing with. It may, happen over the next couple years, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen faster than you think because there's so much money involved, and it's going to have to, I mean, like I said, 300 billion to 200 and some trillion is some huge numbers. But this is an opportunity for us as Black folks, because I see it like this, as the word said, the Father always puts a ram in the bush for his people. And he knows that we're coming into a time, as the Bible says, paper money is going to be blowing down the street and nobody's going to pick it up. Now, we know from past history, the trade of money and exchange has been different things, from coins to seashells to stuff like that, to animals and this and that. But we're in a time where we have paper money. I know a lot of people may not believe in the word or what have you, but it ain't lied yet. So only thing I'm telling you is, you use science as what we got now with a spirituality. And anytime those two come together, trust, you have a truth. But right now, people can just go to YouTube, Google this stuff, just start checking it out. Just start seeing how you can get you a wallet or digital wallet, or buy you a little Bitcoin. You can go to Coinbase. You can take your debit card and you can start, buying you something. I don't advise that Cash App thing, because I see Cash App and they be, we selling Bitcoin and different things, but they got the rates and stuff are so crazy. I wouldn't even deal with that. But myself, I would say you have brokerage online like BitQuick, BitQuick, and basically BitQuick is a company that people are selling their coins. They're selling their Bitcoins out there at a price. So you can go and pick what price you want to pay, and you look at the market on what the price of Bitcoin is, because it does fluctuate, and you look at it and you pick the best price for you, and it'll show you which bank, and you have to, it could be a little scary, because when I started doing it some years ago, I was a little concerned, because it's not like the Coinbase one where you just put your debit card on file and now you all hooked up with the government and all of that, because they hooked up with them folks seriously. But, that's fine. You want to do it like that. I just don't myself. I don't care to rock like that. But you have like BitQuick. These are all legal entities. And basically they'll tell you, you say, hey, I want $500 worth of Bitcoin. And then the person that's selling it, they'll tell you the brokerage, because they're brokering between you and the people that are selling it. And they'll say, okay, go to the bank, this bank, and you put that $500 in this person's account. You take a picture of it, you send it back to them, and then they'll send you the Bitcoin to your wallet. And this way it keeps it all private. Nobody's in your business, nobody. And it's just you and the people that you just bought it from. So that's another form of buying crypto, or Bitcoin, should I say, because once you buy your Bitcoin, then once you get into the world of Bitcoin, because what happens is Bitcoin is like a whole nother dimension, and you have to get into the world. So you buy the Bitcoin and then you go into the world. Now, once you're in that digital world, that digital space, you can buy Ethereum, which is a great coin right now. that I would say for people, you know, this is not financial advice, but if people want to invest in something, Ethereum is a coin that's has some great potential, because Bitcoin right now is way maxed out. Okay, it's going much further. Don't get it twisted. You understand? I mean, it's around 11,000, what have you now, but you're looking at a coin that we don't even know how far it can go. You understand? 500,000, 1 million, who knows? But Ethereum has greater potential at this point, as it's running around $200 to $300 a coin. There are other coins, okay, that are cheaper, but to hedge yourself and still a great investment, Ethereum is that. Because like I said, you can still buy $50 worth, $100 worth, and you just keep chipping at it, just like you're investing. I pretty much, you know, can tell you that you won't be upset about this and this information if you follow some of, you know, what we're talking about here. Again, not financial advice. It's just my opinion, you know. But firstly, mainly, I advise people, anything you want to know about crypto, just go to YouTube, pull it up. Y'all know how this Google thing works. Just anything, you know, I mean, go on YouTube and just pull it up, say whatever questions you want, familiarize yourself, learn what's going on, man. So we don't, it's here for us. Like I said, everything is telegraphed, and nothing is done where, you know, you wake up and say, oh man, I didn't know about that. I didn't know. No, it's right here. It's right here, but it's going to take you to apply yourself, you know? So I really urge my people to do that.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you for giving that information. Does anybody have any questions or comments right now for ADE? Anybody have any questions or comments? Unmute yourself if you do. Definitely, you know, in our community development, I had some brothers that have CBD product, and they was talking about they wanted to use Bitcoin to be able to maneuver the market, you know what I'm saying? So they can use that to develop. And I was like, that's a good idea, you know what I mean? For people with any type of industry on a community level to use Bitcoin, because it would automatically private community development. And that would bring out, you know, so like Trish, y'all over there in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? That's why I really wanted y'all to be on tonight, so y'all can hear about the cryptocurrency, you know what I'm saying? Because it's big, and you know, it's something that, you know, with y'all selling the herbs over there with they got all kind of herbs over there, lemongrass and everything, you know what I mean? And we can create a cryptocurrency means of being able to actually trade, you know what I mean? That's definitely up. Lady K, what's up? Trish, can you guys come on? You guys want to make a comment about that? Lady K, you want to make a comment? Y'all can unmute yourself. I unmuted everybody, so you can unmute yourself if you want to talk.
And I would say also too, you know, like they got those circles that's going around now. You guys know about them, right? The susus and different things.
Okay.
Okay, they go
Yeah.
Lady K. All right.
Yeah, it finally clicked in and let me unmute. Okay. I was just going to say that, yeah, I definitely agree about the cryptocurrency. I recently came into the knowledge of Ethereum myself. So that's actually something I've already invested in, and a part of a company, of course, where you're able to monopolize on that and put, you know, bring other people into that knowledge. So it's definitely real, and paying attention to the stocks as well as what you said, with, you know, just the way things are right now with the economy. And if you were paying attention, it was already headed to a disastrous level anyway. You know, it was destined to crash anyway. So I definitely agree that we definitely have to get up on it now. Unfortunately, a lot of people are still sleeping on it, just like they did Bitcoin. And that was the main reason why I jumped in on it, because I'm one of those people that missed the boat on Bitcoin. And I definitely don't want to miss the boat on Ethereum or any.
I know that's right. No, you're right, sister.
Yeah, it's way too serious. Like you said, it's going to be a transfer of wealth, and you know, if people aren't in position to actually take advantage of it, they're really gonna miss out and really, really be in more of a traumatizing situation than most folks are now. You know,
That's right.
so I'm definitely trying to spread the word from the knowledge that I've gained from it. You know, everything you said was just, you know, confirmation for what I've already read and learned. You know, so I'm definitely putting myself in position so my family can take advantage of this generational wealth. I even got my daughter an account with the Ethereum. You
All
know,
right.
so even she has some. But yeah, I just wanted to say I definitely agree. It's actually one of the most major things that's occurring right now that people don't realize is about the transfer of wealth and the fact that fiat currency is getting ready to become obsolete. You know, most people just really think that it's going to go back to the way it was when it's obvious that the whole world is in a change, you know, together. You know, the vibrations are going around the whole world for this change. So there's no way that the United States isn't going to be a part of that because we don't have any choice. I mean, we don't even really have any hardback assets as it is to really back our fiat money anyway. So they don't have any choice but to move towards this digital currency in order to save the United States economy. So a lot of people just, you know, they're either ignorant of the facts or, you know, they just don't want to believe it, you know, at all. So a lot of people are definitely going to end up hurt, you know, within the next year or so. But yeah, I just wanted to say I definitely agree that it's definitely a major shift, a major move, and anybody that's listening, I would definitely encourage you to definitely get into Ethereum or Bitcoin, whatever you can get your hands on when it comes to this cryptocurrency. Definitely start throwing you some money there because it's definitely the next big wave. Ethereum is like over the past couple of months that I've been in on it, the stock has went from right at about, I think it was like at 220 when I came in, and now it's like close to 400. Right now on the stock chart. So it's rising really quick, and they already said it is set to surpass or at least come to the same level of Bitcoin within the next year or two. So the stocks are definitely getting ready to start running up real fast. Yeah, it's definitely something that I hope more of us take advantage of because too many of us are skeptical when it comes to this. Because we just used to that cash in our hand. We don't believe that if it ain't in our hand, we don't believe it.
That's right. Hey, what's going on up there? What the heck? What the man doing on the Zoom up there, y'all?
Huh?
What's going on? What is he doing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Who is that guy?
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, who the
Oh,
hell is
goodness.
that?
Okay. All
All
right.
righty.
All
Okay,
right.
I don't know. How did he get the link? Who the hell invited him?
but like the sister said, you know, this for my brothers and sisters, we got to pay attention. Real talk, man. You know we on the bottom of the totem pole with a lot of things, and this can really give us a leg up, you know. I just want you guys, like I said, just check it out. You know, don't be, you know, ignorant like me back in '09 when it was brought to me. And I didn't, even though, like I said, you know, I still was concerned because I know how them folks get down. You dig? But I still should have checked it out a little more. You know, then I probably would have spent, you know, $100 and have me about 40 to 80 million dollars worth now. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, I'm just telling you, just check it out, man. That's it. Just check it out. And you got YouTube right there, and you got a ton of information. But it's on you, it's on us to just, you know, hey, in your spare time, you know, just pull that up. I know you got your other social media and all this other stuff. Pull up. Listen, if you talk about, I tell people, I said, people you looking for jobs and how to make money and different things like that, man, crypto is the best job or whatever you want to, however you want to look at it, the best way to make money in the time that we're coming in. You dig what I'm saying? And, you know, I know, like I said, even like I was speaking about those circles or the susus or different things that's going on in our community right now, if people are getting money from these different things, man, take that money and invest it. Don't go out and try and buy no car and this and that, man. Cancel all that junk. You understand what I'm saying? Get this crypto. Oh my goodness, what is going on with this? What are we being hacked?
Whoa, yeah, we gotta be being hacked or something.
We being hacked. But go out and and
they trying to take over this call.
Yeah.
They trying to take over this call.
Yeah, they doing us in. But spend that money on this crypto, man. And like she said, Ethereum is really the safest and the best situation rolling right now. Until you get a little more experience and learn about some other smaller altcoins. I think Ethereum is the best situation to go right now. But just like in those circles, I understand like they're making money. They put in $500, get 4,000, or 1,400, get 11,000. But the problem, what's happening is when they're trying to move that money, when they're trying to gift each other, the problem is because see them folks they don't want y'all building no wealth. You dig what I'm saying? And when that's starting to happen, then they're starting to shut down the people's cash apps or Zelles or different forms of moving money. You understand? They're shutting them down and they can't, transfer the money. But if we understood how to work this crypto, guess what? I can send you $1 million. I can send you $50 million. And nobody got to be in our business. No bank wire, nobody knowing what's going on or what we're doing. That's the freedom of cryptocurrency. So we got to understand we need this. It's not like it need us. We need it more than it needs us. And it can benefit us so much. Go ahead. Somebody talking?
Jamaican crew, y'all got something to say over there? Unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, they definitely trying to take over the call. We're definitely being hacked.
Wow.
Somebody's definitely mad at Black people building wealth.
That's right. Look at him. Look at
definitely
him.
upset.
Look at him. Yeah.
He
the
came
devil.
all the way into this call just to interrupt what we talking about.
I know that's right. The devil is a liar.
That's how you know we on the right track, because they obviously paying you some attention, Teddy T, because they don't got a hold of your links. They must know what we talking about. They see that Moundbuilder and all that connected to your name and stuff. They know what it is.
Chris, can you guys unmute yourself? I have to unmute y'all. Can't take the mute off.
Teddy.
Somebody don't want to hear Black people talk about wealth.
No, they don't.
You got it.
What was that? Huh?
They coming in.
Do you know who it is? No?
Yeah, that's great. Got to be somebody that is connected somehow through social media, because that's the only way they would have got the links. They had to come across it through social media.
Yeah. Well, how we get back at them is we take this information and we use it.
Right.
That's how, listen, success is the best revenge for all suckers.
Yeah, that's what they worried about the most. They worried about the success. They know if we come back up, it's over.
That's right. That's right.
Ross, go ahead. Ross, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're far.
All right, well, you guys got any comments?
Yeah, Theo, I'm happy for this opportunity to begin to wrap my mind around Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and so on. It is not as immediate a concern, but it is not far from being so. But at present, what really confronts us is what you were commenting on before. how we could compare the extent to which there is now a great awakening among our people to stand up against the police state type of, and it's not unconnected from Bitcoin, because ultimately our liberation will have to be on the platform of stable economics and so on too. But right now, the question you asked us earlier about the comparisons between issues of police state repression, it's really very, very live. It is a main, you know, within the last 6 days, Jamaica, whose police ranks the last decade and a half as being a state with among the highest level of extrajudicial killings by the police. There were two, Mark, you know, there's a serious crime problem. We are also among the top 3 homicidal countries in the world for the last decade and a half, nearly 2. But in this drive against crime, in the last nearly 6 days, there have been 2 major incidents in the press of police operations, which largely have been lauded, you know, clapped and applauded, where in one case, these are said to be young criminals aged between 17 to 25, but actions in which police move in and only corpses are left behind. 5 young people, soldiers. Yeah, militarized police action. Military and the police, in fact. It's a state of emergency obtains in many parts. But there is this similarity of this awakening in Black consciousness of a disgust with the actions of state police forces against largely the poor, and no mistake about it, you know, and criminal elements too. But, you know, it's 2 evils, because some people are glad when police come in and throw down some dead bodies and some guns and say, we got the bad guys. But it really makes people who are thinking a little more seriously concerned, because you don't know when somebody going to come kick down your door and call you a bad guy or bad girl too, you know? So the way in which the world has been made to stand up and demonstrate in numbers across Paris, Germany, we've been following it. But somehow here in Jamaica, the response is still muted. Horrible things are happening. I told you about this guy, 40 years in prison, who is virtually a corpse being eaten by rats.
In the prison.
There is a great level of crime and violence. Young people who can't get a job, who don't have the opportunity to feed themselves, and therefore turn to gangsterism and scamming and all of this. So it seems to me there is and it's not too different from what we see happening in other parts of the world, where there seems to be a global crisis of this modern state connected to white supremacy now coming up smash against the aspirations of ordinary people to live lives of, you know, freedom, where they can expect justice, where they don't expect to be killed by police and so on. There are very many similarities happening in the 2 spaces still.
Just a little more drastic. It's like Gaza sometimes. Right?
You know, we got the idea of being able to,
Not hearing at all, Theo.
I can't hear you.
That's why we want to really be able to take on the opportunities. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
All right, we take on the opportunities to be able to get to the Bitcoin. So as we're developing our industries,
it is important. It's not disconnected at all. Yeah.
So anybody else have any other questions or comments?
On the Bitcoin, for me, no, not no.
I know about the Bitcoins. I know about it from when Ether almost $5, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And it climbed time, then what happened is Ethereum placed itself in a position where you can use this coin from certain countries to buy like Amazon, Walmart. You can buy a lot of things online with Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. You know, cryptocurrency is merging it into the whole system. So yeah, I'm with it and I know about it. So yeah, it's definitely the future.
All right. Well, anybody else have any more questions or comments? We're going to go ahead and get off the call. We had a great call, great information. Next call in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Final comments. I'll be as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
On August the 14th, which by my calculation is 10 days time, the world in this state of uprising and rebellion against white supremacy will, some of us at any rate, once again celebrate the, what is it now, 230 years commemoration of a stand taken by the African enslaved ethnicities in Haiti, led by one bookman who happened to have come through Jamaica. Right. I think you may well have been from Dahomey, Benin originally, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But you know, he was in fact a giant physically. But his words, you know, the part of his oratory, of his sermon, which triggered the revolution. I won't say all of it, it will take about 3 minutes, but just the last 2 lines says, throw away the image of the God of the whites who thirst for our tears and listen to the voice of freedom that beats within our one heart. One heart here.
That's it. That's it. We can leave with that. That was beautiful, Ross. Thank you for that. AD1, thank you. Lady Kyrie, one, thank you. Everybody else who's on the call. Thank everybody for coming on tonight. Next, like I said, in 2 weeks, we'll be back at it again. More topics, more information, man. Thanks everybody for coming on the call. Thank you a lot.
Blessings.
Wow.